There is a particular kind of financial damage that never announces itself, never shows up as a single catastrophic moment, and never triggers the alarm systems most people have built around their money. It arrives in increments so small they feel irrelevant, in charges so routine they become invisible, and in decisions so minor they barely register as decisions at all. And yet, over years and decades, this quiet accumulation of small monthly costs does something that a single bad investment or one major financial mistake rarely manages to do. It fundamentally redirects where your wealth ends up. To understand how this works, you first have to understand something about human psychology and the way the brain processes recurring costs. When you make a one-time purchase of $500, your brain registers it as a financial event. There is a moment of friction, a moment of consideration, sometimes even discomfort. But when that same financial impact is spread across 12 months at roughly $42 per month, the brain categorizes it entirely differently. It becomes background noise. It becomes part of the fixed landscape of your financial life, rather than a choice you are actively making. Behavioral economists call this the pain of paying, and research consistently shows that subscription-style costs dramatically reduce that psychological pain, which is precisely why the entire consumer economy has restructured itself around that model over the last 2 decades. The numbers, when you slow down long enough to actually examine them, tell a story that most people are not prepared for. Consider a household carrying what might feel like a modest set of monthly subscriptions and recurring costs. A streaming service here, a gym membership there, a software subscription, a premium app, a meal kit, a cloud storage plan, a news platform, and perhaps a few others that auto-renew so quietly that the cardholder couldn't list them all from memory. Individually, each one sits somewhere between $8 and $30 per month. Together, they commonly add up to somewhere between $200 and $400 monthly for the average American household, which translates to between $2,400 and $4,800 per year leaving the account, in amounts too small to notice, but too consistent to escape.
But the dollar figure itself is only the surface of the problem. The deeper damage is what economists and financial planners refer to as opportunity cost, the wealth that those dollars could have become if they had been redirected into compounding assets instead of recurring consumption. If a household redirected just $200 per month into an index fund, averaging a 7% annual return, a conservative long-run historical estimate, that $200 per month becomes approximately $100,000 over 20 years, and roughly $240,000 over 30 years. The subscriptions didn't just cost what they cost the future value of what that money could have grown into, and that figure is an entirely different order of magnitude. There is also a systemic dimension to this that goes beyond any individual household's budget. The subscription economy is not an accident of consumer preference. It is a deliberately engineered revenue model that benefits enormously from your psychological blind spots. Companies understand with precision, informed by massive behavioral data, that people consistently underestimate how many subscriptions they hold, consistently overestimate how much they use each one, and consistently fail to cancel even when usage has dropped to near zero. A 2022 survey found that the average American underestimated their monthly subscription spending by approximately $100. That gap between perceived cost and actual cost is not a coincidence. It is the product of interface design, renewal timing, friction-heavy cancellation flows, and the careful exploitation of cognitive inertia. The compounding nature of this erosion is what makes it structurally different from other forms of spending. A bad week of overspending at restaurants has a visible endpoint. An impulse purchase creates a visible object you can later reckon with. But a subscription taken out in 2019 and never revisited continues silently extracting from you in 2024 and 2025 and beyond, adjusting its price upward in small annual increments that individually fall below the threshold of action. The cost creep is real, and it is documented. Streaming platforms, software services, and insurance premiums have all raised prices steadily, while the renewal emails, when they come at all, are designed to be easily dismissed.
What shifts for people who build lasting wealth is not that they earn dramatically more, though income obviously matters. It is that they develop a fundamentally different relationship with recurring costs. They treat monthly commitments with the same scrutiny they apply to larger purchases, because they understand that the compounding math works in both directions. Just as an asset compounds in your favor over time, a recurring cost compounds against you, silently, consistently, and without asking for your permission once it has been granted. The wealth gap between households at similar income levels is frequently not explained by dramatic differences in financial sophistication, but by the quiet discipline of controlling what leaves the account on autopilot. The practical implication is straightforward, even as the execution requires genuine attention. A full audit of every recurring charge, not an estimate, but an actual line-by-line review of 12 months of bank and card statements, almost universally produces surprise. Not because people are careless, but because the system is designed to produce exactly that surprise. Finding and eliminating even $100 of monthly costs that provide minimal actual value and redirecting that amount consistently into a compounding vehicle will not feel significant in the moment. It will feel like a small administrative task on a Tuesday afternoon. But across 20 or 30 years, that single afternoon's work represents a decision worth tens of thousands of dollars, and that is the kind of math that the subscription economy is counting on you to never sit down and do.